Ravi and Vikram were brothers, separated by a few years but close in heart. They had grown up hearing stories about their ancestral home, the Old Banjara House. The massive, weathered mansion had been abandoned for decades after their great-grandfather mysteriously disappeared. No one in the village dared to go near it, as rumors spread of strange happenings, lights flickering at night, eerie whispers, and shadows moving on their own. When their father passed away, the Old Banjara house was left to the brothers in his will. Though both were hesitant, the thought of selling the property tempted them. Vikram, the younger brother, insisted they visit the house first to assess its condition. Ravi was reluctant but agreed. As they arrived, the evening sun cast a dull orange glow over the mansion. Its grand stone facade, though crumbling in places, still held a menacing charm. Vines snaked up the walls, and broken windows gave it a hollow, lifeless look. Yet, the house seemed to be waiting for them. "I don't like this place," Ravi muttered as they approached the door, which creaked open on its own. Vikram laughed nervously, trying to lighten the mood. "It's just an old house. Let's check it out and leave." Inside, the air felt thick and cold, like the house itself was breathing. Dust covered every surface, and the faint scent of dampness filled the air. As they explored, they found strange things. A portrait of their great-grandfather, with the eyes scratched out, doors that slammed shut without wind, and a large mirror that seemed to shimmer unnaturally. But what caught their attention was a locked room at the end of the hallway. The brothers tried to open it, but the door wouldn't budge. Suddenly, a loud thud echoed from inside the room. They exchanged nervous glances. "What if someone's trapped in there?" Vikram asked. Ravi shook his head. "No one's lived here for years. It must be something else." Before they could decide what to do, they heard faint whispers, at first unintelligible, but growing louder. It seemed to come from the walls themselves, chanting in a language neither of them understood. Panic gripped Vikram as he fumbled to pull out his phone. "We need to leave, now." But just as he was about to dial, the whispers turned into a deafening scream, and the lights went out. The house plunged into darkness. The brothers scrambled to find each other, their hearts racing. Vikram clutched Ravi's arm as they stumbled through the hallway, trying to find the front door. But no matter how far they walked, the hallway seemed endless. The house had trapped them. Suddenly, they heard footsteps behind them, slow, deliberate footsteps. "Who's there?" Ravi shouted, his voice trembling. There was no response, but the footsteps grew closer. They turned to see a figure, faintly illuminated by a ghostly glow. It was a tall man in an old-fashioned suit, his face obscured by shadows. Vikram gasped. "Is that great-grandfather?" The figure raised its hand, pointing toward the locked room. The door creaked open slowly, revealing a darkened space beyond. Ravi grabbed Vikram's arm. "Don't go in there!" But something compelled Vikram to move. As if in a trance, he walked toward the room. Ravi shouted for him to stop, but his brother stepped inside, and the door slammed shut behind him. Ravi banged on the door, yelling for Vikram, but there was no answer. Desperation clawed at him as he tried to force the door open, but it was sealed tight. Suddenly, the whispers returned, louder than before, swirling around him. The house felt alive, angry. Vikram stood in the center of the room, staring at a large wooden chest that sat in the corner. It was covered in dust, its surface carved with strange symbols. Without thinking, he knelt down and opened it. Inside, there was nothing but a small, weathered journal. As he flipped through the pages, he realized it belonged to their great-grandfather. It detailed strange rituals and his obsession with eternal life. The last entry mentioned a curse tied to the house. Whoever claimed the property would be bound to it forever. Vikram's hand shook as he read the final line. The house must not be sold. Only by letting go will the curse be lifted. Just then, the room grew cold and Vikram felt a hand on his shoulder. He turned, but no one was there. The whispers filled his mind, warning him to leave or suffer the same fate as their ancestors. Meanwhile, Ravi continued to pound on the door until finally it swung open. He rushed in, finding Vikram sitting in the corner, holding the journal. "We need to go," Ravi urged, pulling his brother to his feet. Vikram, still dazed, nodded. "The house, it's cursed. We can't sell it, Ravi. If we do, we'll be trapped here forever." Ravi stared at the journal. "Then we'll destroy it, break the curse." The brothers ran down the stairs, but the house fought back. The walls seemed to close in. The floor creaked and shifted beneath their feet, and the air grew thick with malevolent energy. Just as they reached the front door, the figure of their great-grandfather appeared once again, blocking their way. "You must leave this place," Ravi shouted. "We're not staying." The figure's face twisted into a grotesque grin as it lunged toward them. Ravi grabbed a nearby lantern and swung it at the apparition. The figure dissipated into smoke, and the front door burst open, letting in the cold night air. Without a second thought, the brothers sprinted out of the house and into the safety of the street. Breathless, they looked back at the mansion, which now seemed quiet, almost peaceful. Vikram clutched the journal tightly. "We can't keep the house, Ravi. We have to burn this journal and walk away. Only then will the curse be broken." Ravi nodded in agreement. "Some things are better left alone. We must let go." The next day, they set fire to the journal and contacted the village elders to discuss how best to leave the house abandoned, ensuring no one would ever live there again. As the flames consumed the cursed pages, they felt a weight lift from their shoulders. The house, once a symbol of their family's legacy, was now just a reminder of the dangers of holding on to the past. The brothers learned that some legacies are not meant to be carried forward. The Old Banjara House, with its dark secrets and cursed history, represented the dangers of clinging to things that should be left in the past. In life, letting go is often the hardest but wisest decision, for not everything that is inherited is meant to be kept. By releasing their attachment to the house, they freed themselves from its curse and found peace. Holding on to what no longer serves us can lead to our downfall. Sometimes we must learn to let go for the sake of our future.